authentic frontier gibberish.
It's mind-boggling to you, yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
The Bad Boys!
If I can be serious for a minute.
Punch some people in the face.
Copulating with wild women.
Might need to tone it down just.
Tone down what?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because we are class.
I don't even know who you are.
And you are trash.
Mid!
Hey everyone, and welcome to A+ Wrestling here on KPHR and on the YouTubes at Hutch Henry's. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and as always, I'm joined by Hutch. Hutch, how goes, my good friend?
Goes better than that music style. That music stops so abruptly. We gotta get like a smooth transition. We gotta figure this out. I'll go do some editing. But
that's a problem. That's the problem with this intro, because as soon as the video ends, it cuts straight to us. There's no overlap. So I have a workaround. I'll tell you the workaround.
Well, how things are going, everything needs editing right now. My life needs, every aspect of life needs editing. Perhaps WWE booking needs editing, or perhaps it's amazing. We'll find out through our discussions here today.
Absolutely. I just got the greatest message. So Yorkie, everyone's favorite UK ambassador Yorkie, might be joining us in a little bit because of the time change. Our lines got crossed, and I just got the best message from him. What language rating are we using tonight?
Yeah, he was all ready to go. We're like, so where are you? And he's like, oh, I'm good. And we're like, he's good for like an hour from now. We don't know. We're not now, right now. Now he's like, oh, I like, so today was the day.
He'll be good.
When did the time
2 days ago? 2 days ago.
So with that iPhone, all I got to do is worry about my stove, and that doesn't happen for weeks. So come on.
There we go. There we go. We have a lot of wrestling to chat about here on KPHR and on YouTube. As always, if you are watching on YouTube, you can leave us a chat, leave us a comment, leave us a question. We'll be monitoring stuff as it goes on. Hutch, we have so much to talk about. You want to talk a little bit about ROH. We have my AEW to talk about, last night's Raw. And by the end of the show, we'll even be previewing some AEW Revolution, which is happening this coming Sunday.
So is Yorkie going to come on?
Yeah,
in the next little while?
We'll be on.
All right, well then maybe we can just casually talk some ROH, since Yorkie only really watches WWE. Am I correct?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so yeah, I mean ROH. My lawyer, my consigliere, who is unfortunately he's on a case right now. It's giving him some pain, and he's having to deal with it. And he brought to my attention that he's like saw ROH this week, which I love, but I just haven't been watching it. And he's like, this new studio. He called it a studio show. It was very NWA, smaller audience. And I was like, oh, yeah. And then I read up very soon after that they are now in Jacksonville permanently. They have a permanent home for ROH, so could very well turn into their developmental. But what it could turn into is a dedicated, well-booked product with a dedicated audience, kind of like Full Sail had for a while there. It could become a Black and Gold. And if Tony Khan is willing to maybe give the book to someone, you know, if he could have his own Mark Calloway, his own AAA, and be, hey, down there in Jacksonville, what are you guys doing down there? It might work out, because I love the brand. You know, I love the brand. And what have you heard about this deal?
So, I don't know too much about the exact details. I know that they ran a few tapings out there. I know that they tried to get some cool surprises. Okada was at the tapings. He had a match, you know, things like that. They're really trying to do something. And I feel like this is a test ground for, like you said, having something like a Full Sail. I think at some point they're going to have to say, okay, look, ROH isn't at the same level as AEW. And maybe some of our people might need some extra rounds before we put them on regular television or television regularly. So I can see this being very much a developmental, and that's what I've been saying from day zero. Ever since the deal was announced, however many years ago, I always assumed right away that it would be a developmental brand.
Yeah, I never really assumed that, because it requires a lot of infrastructure and coordination, you know, like really to be making your own power plant. I just figured he just bought it because he had the opportunity finally. I mean, this is almost one of the things I wanted to talk about was, wow, I think one of the great injustices that happened to the wrestling industry in general was Sinclair being a bit bullheaded and then pandemic hitting. And if it all just happened a little bit differently, like 2019 was a great year. You know, I've been obviously with my
Beautiful.
Triple H stuff, or my AAA stuff that I've been researching in the new videos I'm making in the radio show. I've been going back watching a little more stuff. In 2019 for AAA was amazing because you had just so many people on the indies and access to these ROH guys and like the brand new AEW and AAA partnerships and like all these fresh faces that had just been on the indies. Like, no, there was just so much going on. But not to get off track, is that Tony Khan wanted to buy ROH after the initial All In, and he was a big supporter of all this, and he was part of all of that happening. And Sinclair said no. They wanted 51% still. They were going to give him a little bit of interest. They were going to Billy Corgan him, like Dixie Corgan, like Dixie Carter. They were like, here, you can have a little bit. But he's like, no, I want this thing. I'm going to do this. And they didn't give it to him. And so he started AEW, and I'm like, the Elite name even in there still tarnishes it a little bit. Thank God, Elite does have its own meaning, but we know where it came from, right? It came from the Elite, being their VP positions or whatever. And yeah, so when pandemic hit and they just went to like, studio shows and then archive footage and then releasing people and then, okay, we'll sell to you. And so then it became like, hey, my little brand here. Imagine a world where in 2019 Sinclair was like, all right, you know what? We'll sell to you. We'll sell to you, but you got to stay on our network, or you got to give us a show. Like Dark could have been a Sinclair show instead of a freaking YouTube show or something. They could have worked something out, right? Where they got benefit other than because they were hoping to bolster it. It was doing really well for a while. It was awesome. And they said no, but imagine Tony Khan had bought it. Imagine AEW was Ring of Honor.
I've had this discussion, this dream many times, man. Just remember, like you mentioned, the momentum that they had. Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania weekend, they sold out in minutes. Like just
even
the momentum that they had
did not ruin what that might have been. But yes, no, I'm a Matt Taven fan. Yeah, like just imagine like everything that we've been seeing right now in AEW was ROH the whole time. And then maybe there would be a little more people on the indies to be booked for guys like me as well. There wouldn't be quite a stacked roster, maybe 20% less. I could use that 20%. Go, sorry.
Right. And here's the other thing about this, right? I know that ROH, it wasn't a household name per se, but I don't think people realize how much money, time, effort, everything goes into creating a brand new brand, right? It at least would have been a legacy brand of sorts, a brand that at that point was almost 20 years old. Like I honestly think that what we know now as AEW would have been such a different place, company, everything would have been so different if ROH is what AEW is now.
He would have brought back the Pure Championship right away. He would have made the TNT Championship would have probably been like the Pure Championship. Although I'm sure he would have probably done network stuff because he is still a big like JCP era fan and things like that. Yeah. But dude, like the code of honor, like just everything about it, and like the lore behind it going all the way back to the Feinstein days and those like, the Age of Honor begins and like, dude, like the indie scene back when that was happening, the AJ Styles and the everything. Just all the unsung heroes of early ROH, and then moving into the Sinclair days. And what I would have thought they should do, now they're going to be down in this place, speaking of those days and what Sinclair's plans were and why they were doing so well, was ROH was really cool from like 2012 on until it was so like they would just tour, right? They were just a touring company. Yeah. So sometimes it was kind of like GCW is now. Sometimes they had a couple shows in a week. Sometimes they had back-to-back shows for like an event, or sometimes they just be doing whatever, where they could go, when they could go, what budgeted them. And they would just have their shows on Honor Club. It would be like, oh, we're in Ohio today. We're going live 7 p.m. Central Time from the, XYZ Gigawatts Armory out of nowhere. And you're like, sweet. And you tune in and you watch it. And it was awesome. Yeah. And their production was great. Sometimes good. Sometimes the production was shit. Sometimes the cameras were white balance. Sometimes they weren't. Sometimes hard cam was like lighter or dark, but sometimes it was great. It was just awesome. And I merely miss that. I wish they could do that right now. Tony Khan, like throw $100,000 at it. Just have them tour for the year. Come on.
Dude, the amount of times that I would like on purposely stay home knowing that an ROH show was on like on a Friday or a Saturday, especially when they were touring with New Japan. Like those 2 tours that they did with New Japan, those were my favorite shows of the absolute year. And also, it always helped that we got one of those shows here in Toronto every single year, at least twice a
the
year.
Montreal Toronto War of the World shows were freaking awesome, dude. The one where Liger took on Cody, like I can't remember why I was there. I was there with Jay Moore, the infamous Jay Moore, for some reason, something to do with some media thing, and I was there way early. Bro, I got to like meet and talk with Liger without the freaking mask on and everything.
That was a show.
It was a hell of a night.
That was the show. A buddy of mine, we're backstage, and I had a full-on conversation with Naito in Spanish, talked with the Bucks, talked with Cody for a little bit, and then by the end of the night, I was having a joint with the Briscoe brothers.
Dude, it was a magical night for a lot of people. Carter Mason got to be Business Bear.
Yes.
And like got bumped a whole bunch. And like, I think one of my greatest moments as a fan in the audience, although AEW recently with Edge winning the title in the Christian Cage match, like that night was insane for me. Like everything just came together to the point that I was like standing in front of them during the match, and then after that I'm like, what the hell is going on? But that night at the ROH show, just like a classical moment as a fan. Hey, how you doing, bud? I was in the audience, and one of the matches, it just got quiet, and they were like grappling, and the audience just like kind of quieted down for a moment. And I'm not usually that guy, even though I'm pretty loud, but I just went like, wrestling. It was like that moment where you could only hear the one guy in the crowd. And I was with a friend that wasn't a wrestling fan. And I think like me doing that and the whole crowd reacting at that moment, it was like magical for him. He was like, the hell is going on? You know, just like, it's amazing. Trust me, this is amazing. Wrestling's amazing. And that era of ROH as a fan was really amazing, because it's not just being at a WWE event or an AEW event. Like, you were a hardcore wrestling fan if you were at an ROH live event, pretty much.
Absolutely.
Right?
We are talking Ring of Honor and what the future of Ring of Honor holds here on KPHR A+ Wrestling. Joining us all the way from the UK is Yorkie. Yorkie, how's it going?
Oh, what a night it's been for me. I don't want to get into it.
Again, apologies on the time change. I always forget that we do the time change a month earlier or a few weeks earlier than we used to. So we're only 4 hours ahead as opposed to 5 hours ahead.
Yeah, and it's not everywhere. BC, stop doing it.
Yep.
Yeah, but in a couple of weeks we'll go back. It'll go back because we go back.
Yep. There we go.
A couple of weeks.
Yorkie,
we'll forget
we're talking
too.
about Ring of Honor. Did you watch Ring of Honor back in the day? I know you were a huge Shikara fan. We can talk about that forever and ever, but were you big into Ring of Honor?
Ring of Honor was a bit hit and miss. I'd catch a match here and there, but I wasn't an avid diehard, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
absolutely. But even then, right, like you still caught it. Like this is, so what we were talking about earlier was just how different AEW would have been if Sinclair had sold to Tony Khan right after All In, the original All In. Like it would have been a different game because they had the brand recognition, they had the relationships already, they had, you know, the history, the tape library from day zero. It would have been a completely different game, in my opinion.
Yeah. Completely agree.
Yeah.
Well, you know, before we move on quickly to some WWE for Yorkiehausen, shouldn't it be Yorkhausen? Yorkhausen seems to be better, but Yorkiehausen here. You know, AEW girls, it's very hard to book AEW talent these days. I've actually had 2 of them get canceled on me recently, but the ladies are getting booked everywhere. They had a hell of a weekend recently, and Ricochet defending his national title internationally and all over the place, while Okada is not, although he is defending an ROH down in Florida. So kind of switched off there. But yeah, any comments on that? Have you caught wind of any of that stuff, what the ladies were up to? Like,
obviously there was the Eve Queendom show the other day. I didn't chance. I want to watch it because it looks like a good card, but I ain't had a chance to watch it. I've seen some of the results, but I don't want to spoil it in case people haven't seen it yet.
Yep.
But it seems like a good show. But Eve's been a major proponent of women's wrestling over here for years. I think they are the standout company in the UK for women's wrestling, and they're always. I don't think they've really ever put a bad card out. So
Yeah, and they've been around a while. Hey, so Thorington here saying, oh, he agrees with me. How nice. Tony needs to hand ROH book to someone. Yeah, like it doesn't have to be like 100%. You know, just have that guy maybe bring it to you, and maybe I guess Tony could kibosh it, or I don't know. A real man up step would be to be like you, Daniel Bryan, or you, Nigel McGuinness. You are now booking ROH. Run everything past me. We can have decisions. I want you to take my opinion into consideration, but you are the final say. Here's your budget for the year. If you need to go over it, we'll talk. You know what I mean? Like somehow not make yourself the final say unless it screws up some kind of booking of yours. Like let someone run for a little bit. If you disagree with their ideas, be like, all right, let's see. You know, here you go. You know, you could be Shooter McGavin. You could be like 5 Iron, eh? All right, you're fired. You know, if you don't like it.
Yep.
You know, but
there we go.
Let them go. Let somebody go.
Do you know what I find frustrating? I think Tony Khan is trying his hardest not to be like Vince McMahon. That is actually being like Vince McMahon.
Well, Vince McMahon doesn't
in the booking
sense. In the booking sense.
Yeah,
well, maybe he does actually. That might have been an erroneous statement. But Tony Khan publicly tickles wrestlers.
See, this is why we need your lawyer Ron here all the time, just for reasons like this. But going back to something, Yorkie, at the year-end shows last year, you know, you apologized to us, the hosts, and the fans because you weren't watching AEW, and you said that you're going to start watching AEW. How's that going? Is that actually going?
Not yet. I've been following the result. The thing is, right? I want to. It's on a week delay over here.
Yeah.
I do right. When Dynamite's on for you, on a Wednesday night tonight, we've got last week's Collision.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get Dynamite till Friday. And it's like,
all right, what if?
No, but yeah, I see that. I see that.
So this is my lead into this.
Right,
you know, a lot of people worldwide, they tend to watch on Fight TV or Triller, whatever it's called now. And one of the major things there is the whole, you know, just they get the satellite feed. But now AEW has started My AEW for the international fans. Plans start from $7.99 monthly and go all the way to $120 annually. What's interesting is that the monthly plan contains the Fast Channel AEW Podcast, Dynamite and Collision, Ring of Honor, Honor Club TV, Ring of Honor pay-per-views, and AEW TV Archive. Now, that is the basic plan. Then you move up to the monthly pay-per-view plan, which is $20. And that gives you everything I've talked about, plus select AEW pay-per-view archives. Now, this also says one AEW pay-per-view airing during the current month. So, there we go. At least you get the pay-per-views there. And then the annual is basically the same, but you pay annually. You save a couple dollars a month. Yorkie, this is for you. This ain't for me and Hutch, VPN. But this is for people like you. Would this entice you if this allows you to watch live?
Well, not really, because live's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I can't be doing 1 o'clock in the morning.
Well, you know what I mean by live.
Yeah.
Earlier than
what you are. I just don't get why they can't just make it a great. They've got a good deal with ITV. ITV have got like four channels. I don't get why they can't just say, look, we want to go live. We know you haven't got anything that good at that time slot. We could fill it. We could get you more viewers. Just get it on there. Because they're getting more, right? Well, they used to. Before, when WWE was on regular TV over here, it was behind a paywall. ITV's on free to view. So AEW was always getting the higher viewers than WWE over here. Obviously, not now with Netflix. WWE is smashing them, but they're still getting a lot of viewers, and that's a major pull of All In and stuff.
I would assume that with this app, you'd be able to use it on your phone or watch on your phone the same way some of us do with Netflix now, which is nice. So that would give you an advantage, during, walking and transporting yourself to and from work, waking up in the morning and being able to see this product when you're out of time zone. But that's very interesting that you had mentioned that now WWE is in fact smashing it in this fashion for you guys. I guess the Netflix deal is doing good.
Oh yeah, because you see on Netflix over here, you see because obviously they have that top 10, don't they? WWE is always in the top 10.
Well, I would assume that the reason you're not getting it, you were saying, I don't know what's up with ITV. They have a good deal here. I mean, not that I lived in Kingston upon Thames there in 93 for 8 months. And the one thing that I remember being really annoyed about was TV. He only had like 6 channels, BBC One, BBC Two, the Mike Myers song. Like I was like, there's nothing to watch. I guess my uncle didn't have satellite. Some people had satellite, but it wasn't that pervasive then. And it was very annoying. I'm sure that ITV being one of those type of stations, I guess they're not a BBC station, but they're one of their
it's a terrestrial station. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's not a satellite. It's not like Sky or anything like that. Right.
No.
So you guys and the same thing as somebody who researches now for videos, I'm trying to research the old world of sport and I'm trying to research old Japanese video wrestling, especially with Gamora and Samurai TV and all this stuff with New Japan, and their TV rights are crazy over there of who actually owns it. The station owns it, not the guys own it. It's very different than copyright and moral copyright in North America. So I'm sure in general, the reason that it's not just as straightforward for you guys to get it on TV is probably some sort of licensing and lack of channels and all kinds of weirdness. It's a weird world, the world of TV rights and licensing.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that bugs me about that whole new AEW thing is why is it in dollars when it's for international viewers? Why not put it in euro? You say it's a different.
At least put it in euros if it's for international.
Or pounds or something.
Well, I'm sure wherever it might be geolocated, like we are, if you had typed it in, it might be in pounds.
Yeah,
maybe
it wasn't. It was in dollars.
Oh well, F you.
Yeah.
Housing. All right. Well, hey, let's talk some housing because you're a WWE guy, right? So let's talk some WWE, the dubs.
Yeah. Let us talk some WWE. We are 1,000% on the road to WrestleMania. I know we've been talking about this, but I have to say, this year's build-up to WrestleMania has been so much better than last year's. Like, it is insanely better. Before we talk about Raw, Yorkie, let's start with you. Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is the new undisputed champion. How do you feel about that?
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I would rather see if they had the two. Do you know? I wish I was more articulate. That I can just get what I want to say straight out. They've got the 2 matches planned for Mania, haven't they? They've got Cody and Randy planned, and supposedly Drew and Jacob. I would have rather seen Drew and Jacob for the title than Cody, Randy. I would have rather have that been a blood feud and then Cody, Drew, because the reason why Drew's dropped it is supposedly because after Mania he's filming the Highlander.
Yep.
And it's a bit crap. It's a bit crap.
Believe it or not, that's actually a rumor. I'm not sure if it's 100% confirmed. I thought it was too. And I was like, it makes sense. But I think it's just one of those rumors that just never stopped. He's never actually said it from his mouth,
But why not let him have the title up until Mania, drop it at Mania, then go
Cody,
whatever.
Cody had the belt when they filmed Street Fighter. Like this isn't anything new. He doesn't have to show up every single week, right? That's my major issue with this. And having said that, like again, we don't know how much plans have changed. We don't know what the plans ever really were. This could have been the plan from the get-go. I want to give the benefit of the doubt a little bit for this. But I do feel like there were some major changes planned because of the, lack of ticket sales or the ticket sale issue.
Yeah.
Well, when you price yourself out of the market and it's going to happen. And then
this is... you said market, and all I heard was the word mark because that's what I was about to say. Remember, these guys they're not marks anymore, Right. This is not a Tony Khan production. This is 100% corporate. So the way, like Gunther is probably going to take on Rey Mysterio in some sort of like career thing or whatever, right? That's what's going to probably happen. What do I want to happen is I'd rather Gunther take on somebody like, Ilya Dragunov or some call up or, Obafemi, or I'd love to see a great match, but that's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to be the Rey thing. So would I love to see Drew and Fatu for the title? Sure. Randy against Drew for the title and have Drew go over like anything. Sure. But the corporates, they're not seeing that. They're seeing what is a huge marquee money match, and what can lead us into the next pay-per-view perhaps as well is we lean on the legacy of legacy. We're going to do Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, Randy chasing the title. That's a money match. They were going to do Cody against Roman. They were teasing that for a while, but Cody didn't have the title when Roman had to choose, and now they put the title right back on him. There's a conspiracy theory there as well, where they're like, you can't choose Cody, you have to choose Funk. But also, if is Drew versus Randy, it's not going to main event because it's not a big enough match, really, right? Here we got Joe saying Aldis versus Drew Mania. Dude, I'm hoping to see Becky against Jessica Carr. I would love to see Drew against Aldis. I would love to see him against Fatu. I would love to see Fatu get that main event and get that world title shot against Drew. But that's not, it's not going to happen with these higher ups. They're looking at what's the big money match. And Drew wasn't going to work for them.
Can I suggest something? I think Cody Randy might not be a one-on-one. I think they're planting seeds for a triple threat.
They're planting seeds for it, eh?
With Sammy.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think Sammy got Sammy and Trick Williams right there. See, I think they probably on that big whiteboard where the Road Dogg got fired the other day, they probably had triple threat, 4-way match. What about all 5 of them? Drew and Fatu and Sammy and Cody. Okay, we got, what's the money matches? Okay, how many? We got 2 nights. We got this many slots. We got this much time. What's the money match? The money match is this, the one-on-one. That's the money match. He's like, well, what about the other guys? Well, no. Just split them off. I'm trying to think how they think, not what I want. What I want is to use William Regal on my campaigns on 2K26. But I'm not going to win. I got to make so I want. And what is going to happen, what makes sense to them. This is why it's happening. That's why I went back.
Yep.
Hutch, now the question is, who's going to turn?
You're muted. You're muted. We can't hear you right now, Hutch. I don't know. I think you're having one of those audio things. Something is taken over your browser. We're going to keep talking, even though the next question I had was for you. Who is going to turn heel? I have no idea. I think on paper,
I would like it to be
this would be a very weird time to turn Cody. Almost impossible to turn Cody. I don't know. It's very weird. I think that, but Randy Orton is at the point of his career where he doesn't need to be a heel per se. What do you think, Yorkie?
I prefer Randy as a heel, but the crowd have just started singing his song, so they won't turn him heel. And then you see, what happened there? I don't know what happened there. But anyway,
my mic coming on.
Oh, hey,
you're back.
Wait. Oh, you're gone again.
No,
he's here.
Don't do that.
You're good. Just remember, you are listening to A+ Wrestling here on KPHR Hamilton, and you are watching live on YouTube at Hutch Henry's. Hutch, you had a thought before you had some audio issues. What were you saying? Who's going to go heel?
Yeah, who's going to go heel? Do they do it at Mania? Does somebody turn during the match the way we thought John Cena should happen? Does somebody do, I don't know. Does Randy go Viper? Does he listen to the voices? Or does Cody turn? Because it would be better to have a straightforward heel face dynamic. I don't think there's enough legacy to really lean on it.
We're going to get Ted DiBiase as a special guest referee.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's a little busy right now.
Yeah, I know. He's in trouble. So I'll just.
And Cody's good when he's angry, but what does he really have to be angry at Randy about? I don't know. So we'll see what they do.
I find it baffling.
I'm curious.
I find it baffling that Mania, the two big matches they've got to sell Mania are both face versus face.
Yeah, very interesting. Although, depending on how you look at it, CM Punk's slowly turning heel, and Roman's not exactly a nice guy these days.
I have never bought Roman as a heel ever from when he lost the title to Cody, and then he took all that time off, and then he came back, and everyone just suddenly loved him. I'm like, why? He's not done anything different to.
Oh, you mean you haven't bought him as a babyface and not as a heel?
Not at all.
Yeah,
not at all. I just do not buy him as a babyface whatsoever.
Well, insert your Bobby Fish memes right here. Like, where's the lie? And he was talking about CM Punk in real life during that moment, actually, which is funny. But like, I'm talking about CM Punk here. Where's the lie? Like, he was the one saying he's never apologized to you guys. He's never this and that. He's the one. Screw man. He's not. Screw you guys. So Punk was right. Change your Kevin Owens shirts to Punk was right instead of Owens was right.
And that was right. Let's just jump into it. We're talking about last night's WWE RAW when CM Punk was confronted by the Usos. And, well, some could say that CM Punk was just spitting facts. It was a great segment. I thought it was a great way to use the Usos in this feud. Is this Punk's way to manipulate the Usos and others from not showing up and helping Roman? That's what I think is really going down.
Well, he didn't call them out. They just came out. And, I kind of love how, the backstage person was like, so guys, what are you going to, she what is she like? Estes over that little girl was, she's like, do you guys have anything to say about Punk? Like they weren't even talking about that. And Jay, he's like, no, man. And it was Jimmy. He was like, no, yeah, I think we do, and Jimmy showing like,
I like that.
Why he's cool. Yeah. And then of course, you know how I feel about Jey Uso. Like, I don't dislike him that much, but then he makes me dislike him. He gets in the ring and he's all oosy and he's like, the way he's so petulant, and then he's like, like, oh God. And then it was Jimmy who's all like, bro, come on. And Jimmy was down to earth, a real good promo. He doesn't get enough. I'm telling you, he's the one. Jimmy's the one. Anyways, yeah, I thought that was cool. And I kind of like how they like decked him out at the end, but Punk was right. And I knew when he said, I'm sorry, he's going to be like, I'm sorry that you're so something or other. You're so pathetic. I'm sorry, Roman never, because that's always a lead in for that. But what else are you going to do when Roman's only around 3 more times before Mania? You got to fill it in with somebody else, right? 4 more times.
It's crazy how little. But this is my whole point I was talking about last week, right? It's like, look, I love at least these in-ring segments having fun, but I don't know. I just want more. Give him a match. Give CM Punk a match. It doesn't need to be a title match. Put him in the ring with the Usos. I don't know. But
where's our FTR Punk 6-man match against somebody? Come on, give me that stuff, right? What was going on?
Right?
This is where we want our AEW booking, where it's like sometimes people are like, oh, they just throw matches together. And I'm like, yeah, but when they do it, it seems ROH-y. It seems indie. When WWE throws together a random match, you're all like, yeah, it doesn't matter. LA Knight's just gonna take a pin or whatever. Like it's weird. It's really weird. And like they can do it. You can watch like New Japan tours where like the whole undercard is 6-man matches. And for some reason it's kind of okay. But if they did that here, we'd just be like, what is going on? Did I swear?
Yes.
Ish?
Yeah. No. Okay. No, you said undercard. Ish. It's okay, undercard-ish. Undercard-ish. It's good.
Good.
Talking about that. So yesterday's segment with the Vision and Seth Rollins, very interesting. It reminded me of that Simpsons when Sideshow Bob was going to shoot someone and they were doing the whole switch, boom, 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 the switcheroo. Very weird stuff. Are they buying time for a possible return of Braun Breaker? Like, where are they going with this story?
No idea.
I don't know, man. I know if I was to title the story, it would be like freaking Adam Pearce and the Ninja Clan invasion or something, like Chapter 1, Raw, Chapter 1, Adam Pearce and the Ninja Clan invasion. It's like what was this?
It really does feel like the Foot Clan at this point.
Yeah, that's why I sent that I kind of sent that picture we're gonna use for the thumbnail. I like faced it.
It reminded me like Scooby-Doo-ish.
Okay,
yeah.
Here's another way that you could look at it. Like, there's a lot of people that I'm amazed how many people are dissing it. Like, oh, this is so stupid. This is so stupid. We've been I made the joke last time that like George said they're not going to debut Britt Baker or Jericho out of a box. And I was like, no, Triple H is going to he's going to grab their duffel bag of hoodies and be like, here's your hoodies, guys. Like, he's been doing it for so long. There's compilation videos of how many hoodie guys we've had, like every new member of the bloodline, R-Truth, everybody. So this is like making fun of themselves. And the fact that we all knew it wasn't actually Seth Rollins under the masks originally and like all this stuff, like it's fine. Like this is actually kind of, it's not cool, but it's fun. Like, come on. As long as he doesn't do it forever. We don't need this to be like the Dark Order. He doesn't need to be sitting on, the guys turn into a throne of humans and he tries to sit on it like Evil Uno. Like they probably do it better in WWE.
Now I want to see that.
Yeah, kind of. Like imagine they like grabbed each other. They'd be like working on it backstage. It wouldn't just be like Eric Cannon being like, Aaron, go let him sit on you. And they'd be like, okay, cool. They would rehearse it in WWE and it would actually look good, but still. Yeah, now I want it to.
But it's very funny that even Powerhouse Hobbs was a masked man yesterday. It was hilarious.
Really?
But yeah.
Okay, I gotta go back and look for the big dude.
Exactly. All right, let's continue on with more of Raw. Bayley won the gauntlet match and is set to face AJ Lee for the Women's Intercontinental Championship next week on Raw. I'm really looking forward to this match.
I ain't gonna lie, I thought I missed it because I thought the winner got to face AJ at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, for next week. Oh, I would wouldn't mind seeing that, man.
They got to fit in all the AJ matches, right? So that you can have a couple defenses.
Yeah.
And it's other people are like, why Bayley? Why Bayley? Because AJ is probably only going to have 2 or 3 matches before Mania. So she's going to want to fight people. She want to fight her friends. She's going to want like, hey, we should have a match. You know, that's why it's babyface against babyface. And that's why Bayley can lose. It doesn't matter if she loses, whatever. I just want to like, you know, hey, let's work a match. Like, what else would you do if you knew this person's probably, she's not hanging around after WrestleMania. That's why she's probably going to lose it.
We'll see. We'll see what happens there. Yeah, that's what this whole show, A+ Wrestling on KPHR Hamilton, is all about. And at YouTube at Hutch Henry's. Also,
my opinion, on the Gauntlet is like, if I was to give this a chapter name, it would be like something funny that has to do with the fact that Io Sky and Asuka were as far away as possible in this gauntlet as they could make them. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, is this not where they're going? Like, what are they going to do with Io Sky? She had like the greatest match, perhaps even on people's top 10 list, best match of the year last year. Walked in champ, walked out champ, took out Rhea, started a friendship, became champ. Which the tag champs, you know, what's she doing this year? Nothing.
Right. It seems very weird.
Right there.
It seems very weird. And our girl, Raquel Rodriguez, again, comes up short.
Yeah. I hope that she is the person that is the Reina de Reinas like surprise challenger this weekend. You know, Flammer did an open challenge last year, and this year she specifically said, I'm doing it again, but this year it's WWE. You guys come out. You send your best ladies. She can hack it.
I hope it's not Lola though.
Like, I think it shouldn't be Lola because Lola.
Champion, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a mixed tag, but she's also on AAA more than she is on WWE. I don't really watch NXT, so I don't know how much she's there. But I feel like that when she says I'm calling out a WWE person, they want a surprise. Rey de Reyes, they don't want to bring out Lola Vice, so people are like, oh yeah, you know, it's like, you know, I've had some flat surprises before. I don't want it to be a flat surprise.
Speaking of a fun surprise, Kurshausen this week went to the Grand Americano OG as he faced Penta for the IC Championship. All right, we saw his debut in Chicago. Very mixed reactions. We saw the skit last week on Monday. We saw the skit on Friday with The Miz, where the crowd was already chanting with him when he yelled out curse. And the crowd reaction last night when he cursed the OG Grand Americano was fantastic. What is this? 3 weeks in and people like they're already backing this up. I'm loving this. I'm loving it.
What blows my mind is how Michael Cole and Corey Graves did not pay attention to that segment. Because I don't know if you two saw it. Did you see it? Did you see what happened after he got cursed? Did you see what in the background? You saw Bravo and Rayo in the background.
Yep.
And I'm just like, well, it's fucking obvious. Oh, flipping obvious what's happening. I'm so sorry. It's obvious what's happening.
Noticed that. So I've been all like, what? Like they're like, we'll figure out, and they never said. And I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
You're supposed to spoon feed wrestling fans for darn sure. So the fact they didn't, I'm surprised. I guess I just didn't notice. That's good.
I didn't know. I saw him in the background. I'm like, oh, that's what's going to happen.
Get attacked. Yeah. Dude, the smartest thing someone could do would be get Danhausen as your manager or tag team partner. Just like curse everybody, and let's go straight to the top, man. Like in 2K27, you better be able to curse people. Like it's like you'd have like 2 or 3.
Apparently, he's getting in 2K26.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's on this year's
Imagine
game.
there was
But
a
wouldn't
thing where
this
Danhausen
be
like gives you curses
a
and you can
great
use them throughout
way?
the game. Like, sorry, in your gameplay, if you want to skip a freaking match that's like too hard, you like use one of your Danhausen curses. Sorry.
I honestly do believe, and I think that it would be great if they do this with The Miz. And this is how The Miz gets back to even the U.S. title scene, even for a few months.
That's great. That's actually great.
Now,
He hasn't won a
look,
match
The
in
Miz
ages.
saw him curse Dominic. He saw him curse OG Grand Americano. Miz
He's a businessman.
Miz is a smart guy in WWE's storyline.
Speaking of Danhausen, did you see the commercial break with Danhausen?
Yep, when he was giving away shirts.
I've never the crowd were proper behind him there. It was like a rousing cheer. Like, oh,
I like how he just grabbed a bunch of them and threw them, and Michael Cole was like Michael Cole's like, that one guy got like 8 shirts. And he's all,
yeah.
He's like, is he giving it out?
What I love about those commercial segments, sometimes you get the most unhinged comments by the commentators because it's not really being aired.
Yeah, it's like AEW light. Like AEW really goes off during the commercials, man. Like there have been peak moments of Excalibur and Taz just barely being able to hold it together.
It just baffles me though. It's on Netflix. You don't need commercial breaks on Netflix. Why is the commercial break?
Advertisers. They have deals with advertisers for X years, and they thought they were still going to be on cable. That's the issue.
Yeah, and like so Eastern Standard Time is probably the most popular. That's like New York, Florida. It's probably the most popular television time zone. So Raw and doesn't go live on Netflix until Eastern Standard Time. So it's simulcasting with the television stations that are playing it out there, and then it'll go a couple hours later.
Oh, I didn't realize it was
all the way to LA. Yeah, so those commercials are actual commercials. And the reason that we get to see Danhausen giving out shirts is because on CBC or on Fox or on Spike or like whatever channel is on USA Network, they're playing like McDonald's commercials and Nike commercials, and we're seeing Danhausen throwing out shirts. And I'm not on premium, so about half of them I get commercials anyways. And Sonnet Insurance like 5 times in a row. And I'm like, right. But then I sometimes see the New Day doing an interview in the crowd every freaking Monday.
A+ Wrestling here on KPHR Hamilton and at YouTube at Hutch. Henry's, let us continue talking about WWE Raw. It finally happened. Finn Balor is out of the Judgment Day. Is this leading us to a Dominic versus Finn match at WrestleMania? Hutch?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yorkie. Yeah, of course it is. Go York.
However, is it going to be for the Mega Campeones title, or is it just a one-on-one match?
You know, this weekend is the live event.
Raya de Reyes.
Yeah, and they're getting split up into 3 TV events for the Fox AAA on Fox broadcast. And I don't even think there's a way to see it in North America for as a live event, as like a pay-per-view in any fashion. But the stipulation, the apuestas, isn't hair versus mask or anything like that. It's career versus like banishment. So Vikingo's not going to like retire, but I can see Dom being banished for a while in some fashion and like somehow coming back, or like, you know, putting on a mask and doing like, I just literally thought of that as I'm saying it, you know, do like a black night, whatever it is, Midnight Rider. What was the Dusty version of it? Or when JYD came back as Stagger Lee, you know, perfect. I don't know what's going to happen down there. So I don't know if he'll have that Mega Campione shit.
Oh yeah, because he's still cursed, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah. I don't know if he's still cursed. But is Finn Balor cursed? This was I don't know. It was like very premeditated. We finally saw it coming. Was that?
Finn Balor cost him the title.
Yep.
And if it cost him the title, then I'm gonna beat you at WrestleMania. Okay.
Yeah, you mean like go down to Mexico? Perhaps. I don't know if that's gonna.
He's been down there before.
Bottom line is,
yeah.
Sorry, go on. What were you saying?
No, I'm going to say he's been down there before, hasn't he? So.
Yeah. Everyone's open season at this point.
The JD McDonough thing is interesting. Like the last member of the official Judgment Day of the original Judgment Day gone. But if they want to keep this as like an NWA kind of ever-growing faction, like Judgment Day is a stupid name, but the faction doesn't matter who you are. Like they get TV time. Like JD McDonough would not be where he is now if it wasn't for Judgment Day. You know, we had Carlito, we had like R-Truth in there. Like this is. The name itself is the only thing that makes it seem weird, because if it was some other name, I don't even know, but like it shows you that names don't matter in the end run. This is a faction that should keep growing, should keep living. Who are they going to bring in? You know, David Finlay would have been perfect for this kind of a position. But you know, he was being offered NXT money, so I don't blame him. So yeah, I don't know. Finn. I think Finn should go with Danhausen. Or we were already saying that Demonhausen. He should be the one to be like, you know, like Finn should still lose. Again, he should lose his next match somehow to Dominic or something like that. And then he was talking to Danhausen and he'd be like, oh, you know, don't you know? And he'd be like, you're cursed. He's like, what? He's like, you've been cursed a while. You know, oh, that's why you keep losing. I can see he's in there. He wants to get out. You should. And then like they work together, tag run, or Finn comes out, lets the demon out in some fashion that doesn't have the tassels. Just no tassels. Those weird headband tassels. They were not for me. Everything else with the demon I like. Evil joins the Judgment Day, says Joe Thorrington. Thanks, Joe. This is like the third or fourth time, even in private conversations, you keep pushing. You think Evil's going to show up? And I don't know if you're joking with me, but you think that somehow WWE's going to push this guy. They're going, oh, he's going to be in the bloodline. Like you think Evil's going to come in and ruin WWE. It's not going to happen. He's going to be fine. He's probably going to do great. He's going to be better than Kenzo Suzuki, or probably even do better maybe than Nakamura. They're going to find a spot for him, but he's not going to be in the goddamn Judgment Day.
Let's talk about this. Carmelo Hayes, U.S. title open challenge last Friday. Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. called it out, had a great match on SmackDown. Thoughts, Hutch?
That was pretty fun. Funny enough, I think Thorrington texted me out of the blue. We don't talk that often, but he just went, I don't know who he wanted, but he's like, oh, I'm getting the doctor instead of this. I got to see what he said. He wanted somebody crazy. People like, that's a good thing about these open challenges is some people get excited about who it could possibly be. He thought it was going to be Hiromu Takahashi. I was like, you're insane. You're insane. Like, what's wrong with you? Do you actually get excited for this stuff and then disappointed? Like, you need to fucking get it's not happening.
I love it.
But yeah.
Let's talk about this. Obafemi. Well, I guess Johnny Gargano had an open challenge. Obafemi answered this. A lot of people are getting very angry with what they're doing with Johnny Gargano. I honestly think that they're going to repackage him very soon. He ain't going anywhere. His wife's already a trainer. He's going to be a trainer. I don't see them going anywhere anytime soon.
I feel like he probably pitched it himself. You know, like this, the Ciampa thing kind of feels like it came out of nowhere very quick. And then it's like, what are you going to do with this guy? Well, I want to at least acknowledge it. So you'd be like, my partner's gone. And then he's like planking or whatever he's doing. Like, give him a couple of weeks of being depressed or being weird. Like, comedy characters get over. Like, you want him to paint his face green or something? You know, obviously this stuff works. So, like, we're talking about it, aren't we? Like,
Exactly.
DIY could have had a match every 2 or 3 Raw. It's like they're not having a match every week. Sorry, boys. It's just not happening, it seems. But, like, they could have had some great matches lately, and we would have glazed over what a great match it was. But, you know, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae has had more talking time, I think, just through this segment than she's had, like, all last year. So, like, man, it's fine. All of this is fine. Give Seth his ninjas. Give Johnny Gargano a bigger road case to lie on. Like, I'm fine with all of it.
Chelsea Green said it best. At least you're on TV, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, man. Like, and people are like, oh, they don't like what Michael Hayes said about Chelsea Green, and we can't push her, whatever. And I keep like, yeah, she deserves more. She's a talent. She's a real talent. And then I keep thinking, I'm like, Chelsea Green, world's heavyweight champ. I'm like, okay, now forget it. Like, not that she couldn't do it. Well, obviously, she has the physical capability of doing it. But like, we want her to be
talk about Chelsea
funny,
Green
not serious
for a second. This is a woman who has been injured, broken ankle, showing up on a wheelchair, and it's insane, the crowd reaction that she's been getting. It is unfreaking real.
She's my pick for Money in the Bank. If she gets into it.
Like, that's the way you get a title on her. I can see it. You know, you could go the Eric Young route and try and like make her serious all of a sudden. Or I'm trying to think of somebody else that they like gave that chance to who suddenly got serious. Like, maybe you could do it. But really, we want to see her being a dumb bee all the time because that's what she's great at. If she became world champ, she would need, or a high up champ, she would need to try to be more serious. But I can see her doing her like US champ president thing as the champ for a while. And like maybe even like heel it up hard, like chicken-ish heel. You happy? You proud of me, Boris? And like all those ways of getting out of it, you know? But as a serious world champ, she would need to change everything about her that we love. Because as much as she's a very competent and capable in-ring worker, she's not the greatest worker in the world. So then you would need to start leaning on that crutch more. And she's going to probably snap something if she leans on it too much. So let her talk.
Dude, I don't know who has worse luck, her or Penelope Ford. You made a joke a few weeks ago. How long until she gets injured again? She's injured again.
Yes. And, you know, these things happen.
Right. One last thing I want to talk about before we jump to AEW Revolution, and that's Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley. Hutch, what did you think of that showdown on Friday?
Honestly, I kind of half paid attention to it, so I guess it wasn't that interesting. I don't like listening to Jade talk.
There we go.
Weird.
Yorkie gave us
I'd rather talk about
Yorkie thoughts.
It to me, it felt like management told them to go out and apologize to each other and make something from what happened on Twitter, because obviously that kind of blew out a bit of proportion. And they're like, I'm sorry. I respect you, but I'm sorry for what I said online.
Nah, I don't know. Deal with that backstage and then get them to lean into it on camera. You know, if The Rock can swear once a year, let Jade Cargill swear. Let her lean into it and like really go at each other hard, but make sure that they've smoothed it out backstage, at least on the surface. You know, they could not like each other, but we got to be professional here.
It just reminds me of it reminds me too much of it reminds me of Tiffany Charlotte type.
Yeah,
thing,
exactly.
But I mean, like Punk and Reigns, Punk can say, hey, your dead father, you know, and he's like, you mind if I talk about your dad? Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be great. They need to do that. These two ladies need to, or whoever is causing the most trouble needs to like man up, woman up, be professional, smooth it over, forget about it, wait till retirement, but take the heat you've made from this and make something out of it. You know?
Exactly.
And speaking of heat,
absolutely.
We didn't see Brock Lesnar this week, and I think it had something to do with we just didn't have time for you on the schedule. Something's happening. Something's changing. Open challenge. They might drop this open challenge like a hot potato. We're never going to hear about it again. But I also think that there's some issues, like some kind of disgruntled issue or something or other. But
there could be. I'm seeing reports today that apparently Brock said he doesn't want to lose until his retirement at this point.
Yeah, I saw that as well. And I'm like, if they're thinking of putting Oba against Brock, I wouldn't want Oba doing the pin.
Nope.
So
I don't know. You could do a Danhausen thing. You know, Danhausen could answer the open challenge, and then he like laughs at him. You're cursed, and like as he says, "You're cursed." The Oba Femi music hits, and he's like, "Oh, that's a hell of a curse. That's a good curse," you know. And then Oba Femi comes out, and he could quickly get a win on Brock, surprising him, and then Brock can like beat him next pay-per-view. They could do something, but yeah, maybe if he's got the right. You're gonna tell Brock Lesnar no?
Yeah. Oh. All right, we're gonna turn the page here on KPHR Hamilton to some AEW Revolution happening this Sunday in Los Angeles, California. I'm sure more matches will be announced between now and then, but this is what you got. We'll go through the card and have a quick chat. We have about 8 minutes. So, everyone banned from ringside, Timeless Toni Storm versus Marina Shafir. See, to me, this is one of the matches that I don't think needs to be on a pay-per-view.
But it's a way to get Tony on pay-per-view. I think because
there's so many other matches I know it's Toni Storm, but there's so many other matches possible at this point.
All right. Well, when you're mentioning the 10th match in our only 7 minutes left here, maybe I'll be like, yeah, that first match. Maybe you're right. Doesn't need to be here. Let's go. Next match.
All right. Next match. Swerve Strickland versus Brody King.
I want Brody King to win that so bad.
That's going to be a fun match. I don't even care who wins. It's going to be a good match. Right? If Swerve wins and like cements this character more, then that's good. If Brody wins, then I don't know where that leaves Swerve with what he's trying to do. But I think it's going to be a great match.
I just want Brody to enter. It puts him in the upper echelon with the other guys.
It does. It definitely does. So, yeah.
when she just flipped to heel, he almost has to win this match.
Yeah, but heels can lose and like brush it off. I don't know. Who knows what's gonna happen? But yeah, I'm looking forward to this match. AEW's done it again. The AEW is the master of like I don't know who's gonna win compared to WWE. Maybe not the masters, but they're better at it. Boris, are you there? Are you frozen? Okay, there you are. You're back.
I guess I was.
Yeah, okay. We heard everything you said, I think. But anyways, go on. Next match. This is gonna be great.
At this point, would be no time limit. AEW Continental Championship, Jon Moxley versus Takeshita.
You know what? Every time I think that they should put something on Takeshita, he loses. So I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna go against my better instinct here. I'm gonna say Moxley, but I think Takeshita should win, and then maybe go against freaking Okada. I don't know. Jesus, man, these people, they don't want to do anything. But yeah, Takeshita. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm picking Takeshita.
Yeah. All right.
All right. There we go. AEW World Trios Championship, the Don Callis family, your new champs, versus Mystico and Jet Speed.
I think maybe. See, here's you go. AEW, you don't know. They probably just wanted to get it off of Hangman. So this is just a way of being like boink, boink, and then like the relationship with CMLL, getting the title on Mystico. Is he still the welterweight champ? He got it back from MJF. But he says he still have it?
I think he's still a champ.
All right, we'll see what's going on there.
To be
but
honest,
once again, who knows?
For the first time in years, I'm watching more AAA than CMLL.
Yeah. I mean, well, only because it's like it's fresh in so many ways, man. And I want to support Callaway. He's doing good.
And it's still easy to fit. The access is much easier. I just put it on YouTube as opposed to, wherever.
It's also way easier to digest. Like CMML, there's so much history and so much lore and so much lucha, like the way they do things and lucha rule. Like CMML is becoming AAA is becoming very Americanized, very accessible for audiences in a lot of ways. Yeah, dude, I want to see like Mark Davis continue to have a title. They're like Tony Khan obviously likes him because every time something bad happens, he's like, still he gives him something, right? He's like, well, let's do this with you. Let's do this. So maybe they'll keep the title because of that.
AEW World Tag Team Championship match, FTR versus the Young Bucks.
Do you remember years ago, like 2019, when they were in the empty work at Daly's place and they did that match, which was meant to be like a love letter to tag team wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And now they face each other so many times, I'm like, I don't give a ish.
Yep.
Yeah, once again, I don't know. I don't care, right? I feel like FTR's placeholder for Edge coming back in like August, October time, do his retirement thing. They're going to be in Toronto then. So I think that's when it's going to happen. I don't know. But you never know with the Young Bucks. They could make this a program for the summer leading into that, right? We still got a lot of months ahead.
Exactly. And then we have a Texas death match for the AEW World Championship. And remember, if Page loses, he can never challenge for the championship again. MJF versus Hangman Adam Page.
No, do not care.
Yeah, weird. Again, weird. See, I wouldn't be surprised if AEW just literally gave MJF the title as a way to say, look, it's like 2 years ago he lost it at this event to Samoa Joe, and now he's winning it back from Samoa Joe. And like, whoa, and then I'm gonna put it back on Hangman. Like, I don't know.
You called it.
Like, you never know with these people. But also, like Hangman chasing the title. Imagine depressed Hangman who can never wrestle for the title, the championship again, which means so much to him, and him as the like trying to remember, like, I'm saving AEW from you. Like, we all talk about him as the main character. Now he can't ever challenge for the main title again. That's a hell of a heartbreaking cowboy story there. You can write a lot of cowboy songs about that. Ding, ding, that, ding, 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 ding. So, like,
it's true though.
I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I can see MJF winning. Adam Page stays out of the scene for a year and a half, and then there's some stipulation where he gets another title shot, whether that be a Money in the Bank type thing, a weird contract, one of those weird matches where you get a shot. It's like, I know AEW wants to quote unquote respect their fans and make sure that these matches matter and that they have consequences or whatever, but you're top guy almost.
Batman never stays dead. Batman doesn't stay dead. Superman doesn't stay dead. So
unless you're Uncle Ben,
you'd be mad if he did. You'd be like, so as soon as they've squeezed every drop of misery out of the Hangman they can, he needs to win a freaking brass ring or whatever the hell they hang over those ladders and give him his shot.
There we go. There we go. So that's AEW Revolution happening this Sunday. We'll be talking about it live next Monday, 6:45 p.m. before Raw goes on the air. That was the week in professional wrestling, the week that was and the week that will be. You guys that can't even stare at you right now, you've been listening to A+ Wrestling here on KPHR. Hutch, where can we find your work?
At Hutch Henry's on YouTube. I've got some the horrors of Puroresu playlist just starting up, as well as I'm doing like deep dives into Lucha Legends 10 minutes and under to go with my radio show every week. Doing lots of stuff over there. It's very stressful. Please go subscribe.
And you got a big show this Thursday.
Oh yeah, I should. We got some stuff going on. Dude, the gal we have in the main event with Gringo Loco just got signed to CMML, just debuted this week, and we did not get a negative email. We got a they're letting me finish up email, as opposed to a go F yourself email, which we get way too many of those, man. It's like on Wednesday, hey, I just got signed. I'm like, awesome. You're still coming tomorrow, right? Nah, no.
Nope. Exactly. So after this Thursday, when's your next show?
A month away. We took the 2 months off this year, and just the plan worked. We're getting texts now like, I'm really missing you guys. And I'm like, So yeah, we'll go monthly for a while, and then all the way into. We got the Bombshell tournament happening all throughout the year, ending off in December, and we got a hell of a lot of great gals booked in this tournament. So that means a lot of them are going to get signed this year and cancel on us. So that's good for all of them. As soon as we sign them to hey, a couple months from now, we want to put you on this show, that can only mean good things for an indie worker. You're going up in the world because you're not going to be there on our show.
And there we go. At the Mad Luchas, where you can find all that work. Anything from you, Yorkie, you want to talk about?
Check out Hutch's stuff. I watched one of it. I watched a couple of his stuff the other day. It's really good.
Thank you, my friend.
There you go. A+Productions.com is where you can find all of the information on everything A+ Wrestling and so much more. Go to your favorite podcasting app and subscribe to A+ Wrestling or A+ Productions. Hit that subscribe. Leave a review. We want to hear from you. Facebook.com. Search for A+ Productions. We want you to be part of the conversation. On behalf of the entire crew, we thank you so much. Thank you for listening, but most importantly, stay tranquilo.